Hey guys, in this short video I'm just going to be quickly talking about Steam and its role as digital distribution. Now, over the holiday period I'm pretty sure I wasn't the only PC gamer who was spending a ridiculous amount of time checking over the deals. And, well, by the numbers I definitely wasn't. Steam have just reported 100% sales growth for its 7th consecutive year. I just want to put this into perspective. If you were any business and you offered 100% sales growth to any investor, they would be doing barrel rolls with happiness. It's announced that it has over 1,800 games with over 40 million plus accounts and over 5 million users logged on simultaneously during the holiday period. And last year alone, that's 2011, it served over 780 petabytes of data. 1 petabyte, by the way, is 1,000 terabytes. So, now I've just thrown loads of numbers at you. What does that mean? Well, it means, for a start, that shock and horror, Steam has definitely got a monopoly on the PC gaming market. And another shock and horror, it also means that the days of walking into your local store and picking up a game are pretty much, well, dying. The size of shelf space in your typical store, for example Game in the UK, is becoming small to pretty much non-existent. Indeed, well, in Game, once again in the UK, just in case you missed it the first time, it's actually a smaller section for the PC than it is for the PlayStation 2. That's a whole generation older. That simply means that most people just can't be bothered to walk into the store and, buy it. By the time you've actually, paid for your gas or what have you to get down there and park and, buy the game and come all the way back, you could have bought the game, set it to download, made yourself, a coffee or something, and then start playing it, especially if you've got a fast connection. Now, for those of us who don't have such a fast connection, well, I'm afraid that's just kind of tough. If you're actually looking at it this way, now PC gaming, even if you buy the retail disc, most of the time you have to download a huge patch anyway. Let's just be honest, when was the last time you bought the game, took it home, put it in, and, played it? Even consoles now, that's not the case, and for PC gaming that's definitely not the case. Now games are becoming larger and larger and larger. It stands to reason that the patches are becoming larger and larger and larger as well. That's not news to anyone, but I just kind of wanted to point that out. Now, Electronic Arts obviously have a competitor by the name of Origin. I personally don't have an Origin account, but that's nothing against Electronic Arts. Well, other than the fact that, of course, they caused, Westwood and a few other studios to be defunct, but that's a completely different issue. But, I don't have anything against Electronic Arts, it's just that I haven't gotten around to buying any games on their platform, simply because, well, I've got such a massive back catalogue on Steam. If I'm honest with you, I've got around 40 games that I haven't even touched yet. Some of them, like Grand Theft Auto 4, and I haven't even, really played Skyrim that much. I've got Deus Ex. It's no surprise that I haven't really kind of moved off that platform, which I suppose is, great for Valve. It, demonstrates that they're kind of doing one thing right. I've already mentioned this briefly in another video, but Gabe is firmly of the opinion that piracy is caused primarily by service problems. In other words, if the pirate is offering better service, then of course the person is much more likely to pirate than, well, if a legitimate source, shall we say, is offering the better service. After all, why should you want to pay for a game that's released later, has tons of DRM, and you know the score by now? And he has a point, although of course price does come into it as well. The problem is, some games are not available in all regions. For example, some games, for example in Australia, aren't available, and some games aren't available in Europe, and so on. This is of course down to many factors, and it's definitely not Valve's fault. For example, a few games were kind of given exclusive reigns in the UK because of the game stores. That's game is in, well, the stores in the UK. This simply means that Steam weren't able to have the game on their servers and therefore weren't able to have the sales, which of course isn't a particularly great thing. It also means a pain in the butt. Frankly, the quicker that retail dies, and by retail I actually mean hard copies, the better for me. I'd be just as happy for them to, just sell the damn code, and then you can just pick that up how and, just download it whenever. I've already mentioned that most of the time you have to download a huge patch anywho. But obviously this is not all down to Steam. It does, however, beg the question, what and what is not their responsibility? For example, Rage, and I've already used this once in an example, but why in the hell not, had massive problems with ATI cards on release, which prompted many users to be, well, duly and, rightfully upset. After all, how would you feel if a game that you just purchased is not even playable on your machine because it just crashes, as often as it plays? It's just not fair. Now, there's some rumours that go around that, Valve are willing to give a certain amount of refunds, say 1 refund or what have you, but you've got to ask, how much responsibility do they actually have for testing? Certain people will say that they should definitely be responsible for fully testing a game, but how realistic is that? Well, that's another question. Others will say that, they're not responsible at all, that it's down to the developers and the publishers to do that, and they should just be responsible to making sure that the game works fine on that platform. There's no easy answer, I'm afraid. So guys, if I can get your opinions on this, please leave comments below, and if you could please like and subscribe, that would be great. Thanks for now, bye.